What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Odd Popcorn for that review. I'm Chris,
I'm Nick.
and today we are talking about Companion. This was a surprise for us. We went to a movie without knowing what we were going to get, and thought we were going to get Hard Eyes, and it turned out to be Companion.
There was just a spark.
This is directed by Drew Hancock. What were your thoughts going into this? Like, how much did you know? Because we talked a little bit about the trailers and stuff like that, so I want to talk about that a little bit before we get into it. But
Yes, I mean, like, the first trailer, initially, I was drawn to it and was very interested in it. And then the second trailer, which I'm sure people saw, I feel, gave away a big reveal that is a part of the movie. But I mean, you do learn it fairly early on in the movie, but it's just going in, knowing it. It's like, okay, it kind of takes a little bit away from that. But I still had a fun time with it, and I feel like it had fun with itself. It was kind of a little bit of a silly goose time.
Yeah, she's tied up inside, so she's not going anywhere.
Eli, Iris, shh, baby, you're on the phone.
Every once in a while.
so I literally, like, I had only seen the trailers that were a little more ambiguous about what's going on and just made it look really intriguing and interesting, and I was on board already. And I saw that it was, I know it's just produced by Zach Kreger, but because he directed Barbarian, it was getting this early buzz about, like, there might be something Barbarian-y about this, or maybe it's got a big twist or a big reveal or whatever. And then you told me that there was a new trailer that got released that has more revealed to it, and I got that trailer in theaters and was, like, literally texting you in theaters trying to ignore what's going on while it's playing. So I missed most of it, and I'm glad I did, because it wasn't fully clear to me what was going on. Like, it wasn't fully clear to me what was going on going into it, except that, like, the poster of this has her with, you know, the whited out eyes, and some of the marketing, you know, makes it seem, and the name of the movie is Companion, so you can kind of piece things together. But I wish you could go into this movie without knowing anything, because I think it's a cool setup. If you just watch the movie if you went in completely blind, you could make it, you know, maybe 25, 30 minutes into the movie being like, okay, so there's this, they have this couple has this meet cute, and then they, you know, we flash forward a little bit in time, and they're going out and meeting some friends at somebody's got a mansion, and, you know, we're gonna have a good time, but she's nervous to meet the friends and stuff. And honestly, and I'm curious how you were feeling about this, but, like, I thought this was a well-made movie, but I'm thinking, like, so far this is a little bit routine. Like, I'm interested to see where there has to be some kind of hook that comes up soon, but this is, like, in the early stages of the movie. You know, the meet cute everything feels so normal, you know.
Right.
But I think all that ultimately was, like, great because of what ultimately is going on. I think that made it, like, perfect. That is the reveal that I guess, you know, from the second trailer, is that she is, like, a companion robot, and she's been, like, jailbroken, and it's a whole thing. You know, I don't want to tell you too much about everything that goes on in this movie, but for me, like, all the performances here were pretty good, and I was surprised by how much I found myself laughing at this movie. Like, and it's not quite a horror comedy, but it's like a horror movie where there are a lot of comedic moments to break it up. That worked for me pretty well. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in my theater was laughing quite a bit through it, especially the first, like, 45 minutes or so. There's a lot of little jokes in there. There's one, like, I didn't catch until people started laughing. I felt a little bit stupid, because, like, when he kind of explains to her that she's a robot at a certain point, and he's like, I know it's a lot to process, and then he's just, hey. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he does a little smirk.
Yeah, she's a computer.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, is the January curse being lifted? Like, you know, this is almost a January 10, dude, you know? Usually January is where people throw their movies away to, but this was really, I had a really good time with this. I think the pacing was really good. It kept me interested the whole time.
Yeah, it didn't feel too long or anything.
It's only 97 minutes long, and I also thought it just made good use of its time, and it kept you interested about what's going to happen next, even though at the very beginning she says, like,
There have been two moments in my life when I was happiest. The first was the day I met Josh, and the second, the day I killed him.
and I was like, man, that's a crazy thing to reveal in the trailer, but it also is, like, one of the first things revealed in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And they still made it stay interesting the whole time and kept you on your toes. So
there's another couple of scenes in the trailers that, I wouldn't say they're throwaways for the movie, but I'm glad that they were in the trailers, and it kind of throws you a little curveball.
Yeah, this is a movie that doesn't just have one twist either, and I don't think it completely rests all its laurels on the fact that it is twisty either. Like, I don't think that this is only a good movie because it's got some twists in it. I think it, there's good character development. I was invested in all these people, and this is one of those types of movies where it's really easy to make everybody a throwaway character, except for like the one final girl, whoever that decides to be, or the final guy, or whatever it is, and just spend no time developing anybody else. And I thought they developed everybody else. It was also good to see Sophie Thatcher is like on fire right now. We also saw her in Heretic recently. Jack Quaid. I mean, I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but the son of Dennis Quaid, and he's going to be in that movie Novocaine coming up soon, so we'll see how that goes.
Right.
And Lucas Gage, who we saw on Smile 2, I think something else recently too. I can't remember what it was, but
he was in the remake of Roadhouse. I know that. Yeah. Also, Harvey Guillen, I want to say, because I like him a lot in What We Do in the Shadows. I think this is the first movie I've really seen him in. I believe.
Yeah, he was great.
I mean, I know he's done them, but yeah.
The only person that didn't, it's not really a big con, but like Megan Surrey's character Kat,
yeah.
I feel like she didn't really have a whole lot to do. It was kind of like she's just using this Russian guy as like her sugar daddy or whatever, and his character, who he's kind of famous. He's most famous for Pride and Prejudice, the actor.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you'll have to look it up. But his character is a little goofy and almost to the point of over the top, like in a different movie level goofy, almost. But it didn't take away from the movie really for me. But yeah. He was the most over the top.
Also, it was interesting to see because I've seen this guy in a lot. I feel like he's always popping up, and I can't think of his name. Mark Menchaca. I feel like he pops up in a lot of stuff that I've seen recently. Like he was in The Creator. He was in this movie Alone. I watched.
Okay. He was good. He was good in this.
Yeah, and he's a small part, but it's just like everybody's fairly recognizable.
Yeah, and I think it's not like she had to carry the whole movie, but Sophie Thatcher is really strong here and really like she's one to watch right now. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think Drew Hancock has really done much of anything before this that I'm aware of. So I think he's somebody to keep his eyes on too. It's kind of interesting to see people doing like basically their directorial debuts. I mean, maybe he's done some shorts or something like that, and coming out with something like that's pretty impressive. I had a good time.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so talk about what's the other major spoiler of this?
Yeah,
big spoiler
twist is there's another robot in the room, and that's Lucas Gage's character Patrick, who's Harvey Guillen. Eli, I think his name is in the movie, is like his
Eli
boyfriend or fiance or husband.
Robot, yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny how they introduce him as being a robot. Because the whole plot is, kind of they kill Jack Quaid's character had hacked the robot and had her kill Sergei because there's like $12 million in this place. So him and the girl, Kat, did it and then invited Eli and Patrick to corroborate the story about her going rogue and killing this guy. And they have to bring them in on it. And he's kind of like, we'll split it 3 ways. And he's like, what? 4 ways? He doesn't count as a person. And he's like, what? No.
Yeah, he's like, they'll go to sleep.
Yeah.
But we find out later that he's already figured it out. But it is funny to me that I'm not saying it's a plot hole, but it's funny to me that they would make the robots where they're not aware that they're robots at all, because it seems like it's like creating adults that don't know Santa Claus isn't, like they're gonna find out eventually that they're robots, right? People are gonna be talking about how they're robots, and they're gonna.
It's weird how everybody else is peeing and pooping, but I don't do that.
I thought about that too. Like, hey, how come I never have to go to the bathroom? Like everybody else is like, oh, I gotta go. What do they just?
Yeah, they don't ever really tackle that because I don't think it really ever shows her drinking or eating anything, and even when they're at dinner, I don't think it does.
Yeah, I mean, they make them functional for sex for sure, but beyond that, I don't think. I don't think that. Like they do say that there's like a reservoir for tears, so maybe they have to use the bathroom too.
Reservoir for other stuff for sure.
Oh Lord, not plot holes, like I said, but if this was like real life, there would be.
Yeah, there'd be.
And also the fact that she can like use his phone ultimately is that like that's a big loophole, because the guy's just not a very well thought out criminal though, because he doesn't even know. He's like, well, at least we got a guy that was a bad guy.
Right.
He's like involved in the criminal underworld and whatever. And she's like, no, he made all his money off of sod farming. And he's like, sod farming? What? Yeah. This is a bad guy. And when I was thinking back about it, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what he said. I wish I could like rewind the movie and go back and see. But in the beginning, he's talking about his line of work, and he says something about like, "This is a dirty line of work. You get your hands pretty dirty in my line of work," or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why he gave him that accent. He's not. He doesn't know that accent. But he says something about getting your hands dirty, or you can't stay clean in this line of work, or whatever. And I was like, "Oh my god!" It was a sod farming joke. It's just it's a well-written, clever movie.
Yeah, for sure.
While you still feel like genuinely for the characters too, especially Sophie Thatcher's character. So yeah, without giving away too much more, you should go see this movie. You know, if you get a chance, go see it. This is a good one. It's not another January movie to skip. So what would you rate it, man? What would you rate it?
I think I'm gonna have to go with like a 7.5. Thought it was pretty funny, pretty not really horror, but a good story and a fun time.
It is a horror movie for sure. I don't find it scary, but you know, if this was, I find it more entertaining in other ways, and maybe a thriller movie or something like that.
Right.
But I would say this is classified as a horror. But I would give it, I would go even a little higher. I'd give it an 8. Yeah, give it an 8. This is a good one.
Nice.
It looks like horror is on a good like streak right now. So
Oh yeah, we
let's
got some interesting ones coming out soon too.
I got The Monkey coming out soon. Yeah.
And I'm kind of interested in Hard Eyes. You know, for a slasher flick, it's looking like it's got some cool kills at least.
I was looking forward to this more, but Hard Eyes looks like it's got some potential. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.